I imagine it's, it's Chinese, distracting, but we just learned what airwalking was, and we were like, let's try it. And now there's smoke.
And now there's smoke, and I feel like we probably gave one of the best or worst demonstrations of what airwalking could look like.
I think it was pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
But you didn't really even do it. You were kind of like half stepping into it.
What? I was all in.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for being here. We're really excited to chat with you. For those of you who don't know, we have Varun, who is not only the co-founder and COO of Clay, but also probably the most energetic person that I have ever met in my life.
Hence the airwalking.
Yeah. Hence the airwalking.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the art of go-to-market. The first thing that I want to talk about with you, Varun.
Yes. Is it the shoes? The shoes are very good, I think.
It's not the shoes.
Okay.
They are good. They are good
Clay shoes.
They're very good shoes.
Yeah, I would highly recommend them.
But you have a bit of a reputation for some pretty unhinged marketing.
Like the airwalking.
Like you've made a kung fu movie starring your customers.
Yeah.
You've hosted an event about rolling joints.
Yes.
Talk to us about what's going on over there. What's behind this?
Yeah, well, I think for us, it's so funny. Actually, someone just messaged me today about a lot of feedback about how we don't have enough product marketing and how we have just viral marketing. So I think that's, we're gonna create some more balance there.
Balance.
But I think actually with marketing, a lot of it is just about attention share and capturing attention share. And most people are spending their time airwalking because they're on TikTok, doom scrolling. She only downloaded TikTok once, but it was so much that she scrolled it so much that they had a warning for her that she had to get up and go get some water. That's what most people are doing, And so if people are doing that, how are you gonna break through? How are you going to create attention? How are you going to stay on their mind, especially as a B2B software company?
Yeah.
So that is what's really top of mind. And then also people, I think, people are just way too conservative with enterprise buyers because they're just humans. They're just people like us. And they don't just get their information from Gartner or Forrester or whatever. They actually do a lot of things. And so I think for us, it's how do you communicate with people in a way that feels authentic and novel? And truly, I think it also comes down to the people you hire for this, right? Because I think we have a very non-traditional hiring philosophy. Most of our marketers have not done marketing before. I'll tell you a story about Jessica Jin, who comes up with a lot of these ideas. We almost started a pickleball business together years ago. But she actually, this is very American for the audience, but in the state of Texas, they had a law where you could have guns publicly, but you couldn't actually have sex toys publicly. And so she organized a protest where it was called Cocks, not Glocks, and they would carry dildos. So thousands of people in the state of Texas were marching with dildos to protest this gun law, okay? And so that is actually marketing, even though it was a political kind of thing, but that is the skill set and the energy and the mindset that B2B doesn't have, and we're trying to bring more energy in and just trying to do things that feel authentic to us.
Totally. I feel like right now there is this divide between people who want to be creative in B2B marketing and people who just think that sheer volume is the answer.
Yeah.
And one of the things you've done to make this different at Clay is you've kind of invented this new role called the go-to-market engineer.
Yeah.
And now it's one of the fastest growing. Now I'm seeing it on LinkedIn all the time, go-to-market engineering, head of go-to-market engineering.
Yeah. All of you should hire for a go-to-market engineer, by the way. If you aren't, you should do it right now.
So tell us what it is. First, what is it and why did you need to create a new role? Why couldn't you just kind of hire a different profile?
Yeah. So before the last thing on the viral marketing thing is we're going to do some more marketing elements in this conversation, and we're going to have some live elements to the interaction, first time ever at Slush. So just start thinking in your mind about growth challenges, and we're going to have an interactive element, okay? So just to have a carrot to make sure people aren't doom scrolling TikTok during this conversation. I think, so basically how to go-to-market engineering, right? So on this topic, we weren't actually setting out to create a role. Actually, originally it originated from us trying to do sales. And I actually interviewed dozens of account executives and didn't feel like any of them were a good fit. This is no offense to account executives, but I think we've been all been on calls where you meet a salesperson, you do a demo, and you ask technical questions, and they bring in a sales engineer. And what we're looking for, we have a very complicated product in many ways, at least at the time. It's simplified a bit now, and it's very. You want a consultant almost. You want someone who understands go-to-market deeply, who can help you think through the use cases that make sense with your product. And that skill set was just not an account executive skill set. And so we were who matches that? Well, it's growth and ops people, technical builders who are systematic in thinking, who have a commercial sense, and let's have them do sales. And then Kareem and I were thinking of a name for this, and GTM engineer felt really appropriate. Ultimately, we realized that people were hiring these folks to use Clay and other tools internally. And so we have that team as well. And that's become the role that many companies from Cursor and Lovable to OpenAI have all adopted. And it's people who are using Clay and other products to build revenue systems, using automation and AI to scale revenue without having to scale headcount. And so that is kind of the ethos of it. And you can hire for it. We'll help you hire for it if you want. We have these job boards and stuff like that. But really, it's people who have this commercial sense, the systems orientation, very hacky experimentation mindset. And it's bringing a much more product mindset to go-to-market. And their North Star is automating a lot of the work that sales and success and marketing do so they can focus on selling.
Totally. And it feels like for these go-to-market engineers, in order to bring new creative ways of going to market to life, the art of go-to-market, some might say, you need new tools like Clay.
Yeah.
But you also need like creative ideas. I think that is the biggest blocker that people have. And so the interactive element that we're going to do with you all today is we're actually going to ask 3 people for real growth challenges that you have in your business today, and we're going to help kind of go-to-market engineer some potential solutions.
And Jane, by the way, she's humble, but she was the CMO of Carta before being an investor. So, you know, not just a VC. She has useful experience that we can help with.
So while people are thinking of their growth challenges, can you talk us through some of the like most unique, most off the wall, most creativity inspiring examples of how people have used Clay?
Yeah, I mean, Clay, just so you know, we build software that helps you turn any growth idea into reality. And the basic use cases are, okay, let's dramatically improve your data quality because we aggregate data from 150 vendors. We use AI to make it better and help you find new data points that a vendor won't have. And I'll share some of those. And traditional use cases are like OpenAI and Anthropic, where we 3x their data quality from 30% to north of 90%. Figma, Rippling, Verkada, all using Clay to automate personalized landing pages at scale, or automated outbound projects, you know, or automating your inbound and building a self-serve to enterprise pipeline. So these are all kind of the traditional use cases. But let's talk about something more creative, right? So, you know, a couple days ago, I was in Amsterdam and hosting our event there, and someone came up to me, and he's actually in the yachting industry, okay? Now, first of all, I didn't know anything about the yachting industry. So, it turns out there are super yachts and mega yachts, and they all buy smaller yachts, the yachts that this guy sells. This is not a place where I expected Clay to have a use case and where I expected innovation to thrive.
There are a lot of venture capitalists in the audience. I think they know the yachts,
this is great.
mega yachts. They get
great.
It. They
There's
get
a lot of rich VCs. Benedict was on here before and he looked really rich, you know? There's a lot of rich VCs here. And they go to a boat show, all right? But you know, a lot of VCs, not Jane, of course, but they're not dressed that well, right? So how do you know? There's no Rolex. How do you know they're rich? How do you know they're gonna buy your yacht? Well, this is how they do it. So they fill out brief information. That triggers a webhook into Clay, which gets you a lot of data, right? It's like, what is this person's net worth? Where do they live? How many houses do they own? Does the country they're in have a boating culture? How close is their address to a marina, right? Do we have any mutual contacts in our CRM with that person? Very unique data that can help you understand if they could buy a yacht, and will they buy your yacht? And then they actually send a WhatsApp message to the seller at the boat show in 20 seconds and saying, hey, go prioritize Jane, prioritize Benedict, right? And that's crazy. Another crazy use case is waste management, the trash company. They actually don't even know who their customers are because they sell through a lot of subsidiaries. So they use Clay to have AI analyze satellite images to look at the colors of the dumpsters outside people's homes to determine if they're their customers or not, right? So very clever, creative use cases to grow a business.
Often when people come to me and they say, hey, I want to use Clay, how do I get started? My advice to them is, you have been conditioned for so long just to think about what types of data you have available to you today. You have to throw all of that out. You can't think about your world and the systems that you've had in the past. Yeah. Just think about the problem that you have, and more data points, more helpful ways of approaching that problem will come up. So now is the time that we're going to ask a couple of folks in the audience, and we're really zeroing in on people in the front because we can at least see you, to help us share one kind of growth challenge, maybe what your product does, who your customers are, and we will help think of some
And we're going to
creative
live
ideas.
kind of hack this with you.
We're going to do it live.
Do it live.
We're doing it live.
And these people are not planted. We don't know who they are, truly. I mean, maybe we do, but we haven't discussed this. So what we're looking for is volunteers. If no one volunteers, we'll be very sad, and it'll be very awkward. But we're looking for volunteers who want to
Someone's got to
discuss
volunteer.
their business. Okay, boom, we got someone right here.
got
Let's go.
someone,
And we have someone in the
thank
back right
you.
there as well. Okay, so we got 2, and we're looking for a third. We'll come back, and there's a third.
Oh, we got one there. Oh,
okay,
now
great.
they're
We
coming
got
out of the
third right
woodwork.
there. Okay, we have 3. All right, let's start with you.
First of all, such a great opportunity.
We
not
can't
on.
hear you.
You sure? You sure?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Great opportunity to be here. My name is Yankee. I'm one of the co-founders of Wamo. We are a fintech serving SMEs with financial services. We have a license and based in Helsinki, and we've been growing quite efficiently the past couple of years. Our biggest problem at the moment is speed and localization, because we're working in a fragmented market such as Europe. How do we speed up? How do we communicate the team? How do we align all our resources to be able to execute with the local approach?
Okay, I've got one.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
part of the problem, it sounds like, is you've been doing an amazing job, and congratulations. Part of the problem is around localizing to all the different fragmented places in Europe. Some companies will use Clay and plug into their web platform of choice, so like a Webflow or whatever you might have, and you can live create for each individual prospect that you have. When you send out the email, you can make it such that when you click that link, it's a customized landing page that is generated on the fly for them in their local language. You could even probably include specific use cases based on the type of company that you're working with in that web page language. So instead of sending everybody the same homepage that's kind of architected for everyone and therefore no one, you can send them to a specific custom landing page in their language and with their use cases.
That's a good Clay one. I'm going to do a non-Clay one, so I'm not biased.
I'm only doing Clay ones.
If I were you, I would prioritize 2 things. I would prioritize brand and community. And the reason I prioritize those 2 things is on brand. Look, if I'm a company and I'm doing payments are the most important thing. It's very trustworthy, right? And so what am I going to go with? Honestly, I'm going to go with Adyen or Stripe. Right? Stripe's right there, by the way, right? So for a newcomer to enter that, it's like a lot of skepticism. So I need to really trust it. So I need to understand the brand, especially if you're based in Finland and all these things. So brand building is like one thing. And then the second thing is community building, because that is what you can, it's very fragmented, you're right. Every country has different things. So if you actually have communities where you can create some ecosystem, then you can kind of build on top of that, and you have fans and you have some base to start with. If you don't, then it's going to be really hard to kind of just go to enterprises cold. And so that's a really good tactic on how to do it. But from a higher level prioritization of growth, I would focus on brand and community building.
And for community, you can use Clay to scrape different event websites to understand what events and what communities might already exist that you can start tapping into. I'm always bringing back Clay.
Okay, there we go. All right, let's go.
What else?
Okay,
We had
and we
something
had
else.
2 others. I think one was right there, right? And then right there, yeah.
Hi. So,
Turn it on.
does it work?
It's on. I think it just didn't. Right.
Okay. Well, apparently I can just talk. Nice. Okay. So we've got this platform for training small language models, right? So they're the same as large language models, but they're small, easy to use, very efficient. But then we struggle to find at scale people who build on top of small language models. So we have the inbound approach, right? We produce some content, let them come to us. But if we want to do outbound, how do we find people that use small language models? It's not we've tried a lot of leadless generators.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Clay probably too, but we're not, we're not go-to-market people. So
Right.
how can we identify them? It seems like something that you do perfectly with all of your infinite access to information about individuals.
Right. Yeah, so this one could be a good Clay one, right? Though, just to be clear, there are certainly just not to harp on the community thing on this one, but there are certainly communities that do this, and so, but we can do both on this, right? So first, I would understand what communities are working on this, right? Do they live in WhatsApp groups? Are they on Reddit communities? Where those people are, and engage with them there. The Clay use case on top of that would be Reddit, WhatsApp, GitHub, LinkedIn posts, right? These are 4 things off the top of my head that you can do programmatically. So what I would do immediately is I would use, you can do social listening in Clay for a bunch of these. You can also use a tool, it's European by the way, a tool called Syften, Syften, and you can do that for social listening in Slack communities and Reddit communities. And you can use that plus doing programmatic scraping of GitHub repos and LinkedIn posts and for this type of stuff. And then you can get their personal emails. You can then connect it to their work emails, and then through Clay, and then you can prospect them through there. So that would be the source would be the communities. The ways you get it are sifted in Clay, and then you would do workflows taking from personal email to work email, and then outreaching them through there.
That's kind of what we have now,
and it's not working.
Well, it gets a lot of people who use things like that as students, or maybe are interested.
Well, that would be the issue
it's hard
where
to cut to the noise.
You're not qualifying them at the last piece, where you're taking from personal email to work email.
Yeah, maybe that's fair.
And because if you're not doing that, then they're just students, and they're not like people who can pay you money. And then you can also qualify from the comments too. So I think that's the missing piece at the end.
The last part is probably needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing it.
Hi, I'm Jenni Romppainen, the founder of PhotoBee. So what we do is we make photography approximately 5 times cheaper and faster.
Wow, amazing. That sounds like a good tagline.
Yes, I get that a lot. So the core of it is that we're a marketplace for very skilled iPhone photographers.
Okay.
Currently, we're still operating in Helsinki. We've been getting more data and of course already a good amount of paying customers. But then the next steps, we have this customer group that's B2B. It's more smaller businesses who have these tight budgets. Another interesting niche, of course, is dating app photos for men. But I think for now, we see the biggest growth and this constant orders in the B2B or this professional sector. So now that we are considering other markets and we want to move very fast. So what would be the efficient way in this section to actually do more validation and just get out there? Because not to just rely on content creation.
No, I have an idea for you, which is what I would do, an immediate idea, and this is a Clay use case that you could do, is I would prospect. So I would go to B2B companies' websites in whatever region you care about, go to their About page, have an AI agent in Clay go to their About page, and look and see if they have a team section. And if they have a team section, do they have photos for the team people, okay? And if they don't have photos for a team people, boom, that's an immediate opportunity for you to sell. If they do, and if they don't have a team section, also an opportunity for you to, because it's actually better for the company to showcase who they are. It'll be better for recruiting. And if they do have a team section, maybe the photos are old. And an AI agent using Clay can analyze all of that. And that's an immediate kind of outbound campaign that I would do.
Okay.
The only thing I would add is for small businesses, if you have a really strong niche in some places, through Clay you can also integrate with Google Maps. And a lot of companies that are trying to find small businesses can go through and not only find local businesses through Google Maps, but search the comments. So we have a portfolio company that has something to do with music, and they search for the words karaoke or live music in bars and restaurants. And I'm sure there might be use cases or keywords that come up in reviews that might be relevant for you. You can also search.
Thank you. Those are really good tips. Okay. If you need professional LinkedIn photos, remember PhotoBee.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all thank you for doing that. That was a good
way
time.
better than I expected it would go. I thought it would be a disaster, but I'm really glad it worked out.
Okay, so we have a few more minutes. What I do want to talk about a little bit is, I feel like we were talking about tooling, we're talking about what you can use AI for. I think not everything is a good AI use case today.
Yeah.
And I think you famously have banned AI for certain things at Clay.
Yeah,
Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, okay, so I think basically that so many of these companies, if you look at the new Open Door CEO or all these, or Shopify, they're all these big companies are use AI for everything. If you're not using AI, you're not doing your job. If you're not, and I'm that, I understand where it's coming from and where the top-down pressure is coming from, but sometimes I worry it's missing the point. And I think there are some use cases where it could be better, but I think there are a lot of trade-offs to a lot of these issues. So in coding, for example, if you use AI for coding thoroughly, you're going to not fully understand the reason for why you're doing things. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be able to debug the issues that emerge. If you use AI for marketing like we just talked about, is all about standing out. Literally, a large language model or a small language model, it's all about getting data from what's happening and synthesizing that And so if you're writing based on AI, you're actually reverting back to the mean. And that's not the point of marketing. The point of marketing is to be authentic and to be creative and stand out. And so we tell our team, don't use AI for writing, as an example. I'm not like a bear on AI, but I just think people are too just like use it for everything, default to it. If you don't, you're not doing your job. And I think there's way more nuance here and a lot of use cases where the human touch and the creativity is really important.
Yeah, it's like you can use it to automate some of the parts of your job, but if you automate the ideas using AI, you're kind of missing.
And the feeling
out.
And the color.
You are in Helsinki right now, in part because you're expanding into Europe.
Yes.
And so
we're all in on Europe.
Talk to us about that. There have been so many sessions that we've had today about the state of Europe. There's been a lot of comparison to the US. Why go to Europe? Why now? Talk to us about that decision from a go-to-market perspective.
Basically, I think there's a huge opportunity for us in Europe. And look, more than 20% of our self-serve revenue is already coming from Europe. The retention curves for our business are really strong here. We have a strong set of communities in France, in the UK, in Germany, and in the Nordics. And I think that the opportunities is the competition is not really there in many ways. And so I think we're trying to go for it. And we've hired a leader. We're building out a team in London. We're hiring there. And I actually just feel the energy every time I'm here, and I feel the demand, and it feels like a place where we could really make a lot of impact and where we can help companies grow in a way that's really authentic to them. So we're very focused on Europe, and I'm going to even move here for a little bit with my family. So we're very excited and committed to Europe right now.
Amazing. So also a good thing to talk about with any founders who are looking to expand internationally across Europe or in the US.
Yeah.
With our final minute, a lot of this has been about creativity, about how creativity is really important in go-to-market, in the art of go-to-market. I think that creativity requires changing your mind.
Yeah.
It requires being flexible enough to shift on things that you hold dear.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you have made a 180-degree flip on since your time with Clay?
I think for me, I used to it would be about people and how I view people and how we hire people. I used to make a lot of value judgments on people, right? Like, this person's smart, this person's not smart. And now I really just think of everything as fit. I think of people kind of orbiting, each other, and I'm just trying to figure out at what point they intersect with us in our journey and when that makes sense for their journey. And people, this is hard because when you work with your investors, people suggest, hey, here's a star of this company, here's a star of Google, whatever. And maybe they are a star. And a lot of people are stars in a lot of contexts, but can they be a star in your context, And can they be a fit where you are? And that is the art of hiring. And it's you just have to spend a lot of time understanding who the human is, spend a lot of time just getting a lot of information about them. And this is the whole point of how we hire, right? When we do non-traditional hires, we're looking at their underlying skill sets. We're seeing how Jessica's viral marketing and politics matches to the viral marketing we want to do at Clay, right? And then taking a bet on that. And that is actually what creates alpha for us and how we do unique things that helps us stand out.
Yeah, it really shows. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you for sharing your distribution problems with us. We really appreciate it.
And we're going to airwalk back.
Moonwalk or airwalk?
Airwalk. We're going to airwalk.
Right.
I don't know how to moonwalk. We're going to airwalk.